Let's spend a little time now focusing on the campaign battleground in British Columbia and specifically Vancouver Island. NDP leader Jagmeet Singh campaigned there today, and for good reason. These could be some of the last results coming in on election night in some very tight races. CPAC's Ed Watson is on the ground on Vancouver Island. He joins me now. Ed, good to see you again. Thanks for being with me.
My pleasure.
7 seats on Vancouver Island. Why are they so important to watch?
Well, as you say, they could very much depend who forms government. If it's a very tight race, the NDP or the Greens could end up being the kingmakers. The Vancouver Island area has traditionally been NDP territory, kind of fortress NDP, if you like. Up until recently, of course, when Paul Manley won a by-election in Nanaimo, and Elizabeth May, the Green leader, has a seat just northeast of Victoria and Saanich Gulf Islands. So I think if you want to know what's going on Vancouver Island, you have to look at the provincial picture. In 2017, the Greens won 3 seats on southern Vancouver Island, taken away from the NDP. And they went on to form a government with the New Democrats, even though the BC Liberals ended up with more seats. They squeezed by and they formed a government. And I think that a lot of people, particularly on the center left, believe that that has worked quite well. So I wouldn't be surprised if you see some Green gains federally in the upcoming vote.
Is this really sort of ground zero for that battle everybody has talked about between the Greens and the NDP?
I would say so, yes. As I say, there's a provincial Green presence here. Also, the Greens have got some pretty good candidates. There's a couple of cases in Victoria, for example. Murray Rankin is stepping down. He's not running again. And so that seat's up for grabs. In Victoria proper, however, I think the Liberals have got a pretty good chance at that, even though it's been NDP since David Anderson's days. I spoke to a senior Liberal strategist just before the writ was dropped, and they thought that they might be able to take Victoria because the center-left, if you like, would be split between the NDP and the Greens. So Vancouver Island is very much an area of environmentalism. The environmental movement generally is very strong here. And you have concerns about the Trans Mountain Pipeline, tankers going up and down the Strait of Juan de Fuca. And I think that a lot of people might take a look at some of the Green candidates.
Okay, what are you seeing in, clearly the environment, we know, is a big issue there. What are you seeing and hearing on the ground? I guess what I'm getting at is, often when you watch the parties and how they work, you can get a sense of whether they believe the narrative that everybody else is talking about, that they're in a tough fight or that they have gains to make or seats to lose. So what are you seeing and hearing there?
I think that the NDP is on the defensive. I think that the party went in, from a national level, the party went into the election perhaps not as organized as some of the members within the party would have liked. And I think that the Greens believe, and I think with some justification, that they're on a bit of a roll. Paul Manley's victory in a by-election in Nanaimo surprised a lot of people, a lot of New Democrats, and a lot of pundits, this one included. Because Nanaimo has been an NDP stronghold back, I think, actually, Tommy Douglas held that seat, or what was then part of that seat, many years ago. So it's very much an area that the NDP has counted on for support, and it went to a Green. Now, what's going to happen there with coming up next month is hard to say, because obviously by-election results don't often translate into general election victories. But I think that the Greens believe, and I think grudgingly the NDP would admit, that the Greens are on a bit of a roll.
Okay, you are in the riding of Esquimalt-Saanich-Sooke as we speak. It was held by the NDP and Randall Garrison in the last Parliament. What's the story to watch for there? In the minute and a bit we have left, tell me about that.
The story to watch really is a guy by the name of David Murner. Murner used to be the president of the Federal Party in British Columbia. He ran for the Liberals in the last election. In this riding, came in second. Garrison beat him handily, but he did quite well. And now he is a Green Party candidate. So he ran for the Liberals, if that wasn't clear, in the last election, came in second, and now he's running for the Greens. Says that he changed parties after Justin Trudeau didn't go ahead with his proportional representation promise, and also when he bought the pipeline and proved the Trans Mountain Pipeline. So I think I think that will be the dynamic. It's whether or not Murner can take enough support away from Garrison. The Conservative here isn't expected to win. The riding hasn't gone to the right since the reform sweep of the 80s, I guess it was, when Keith Martin won it. So it has a center-left history, and I think the fight really will be between the NDP and the Greens.
All right, so lots to watch for on Vancouver Island. Should also point out that Ed's been in Edmonton too, and in just a few moments from now, we're going to see Ed's riding profile of 2 seats to watch in and around the city of Edmonton. Ed Watson, always good to talk to you. Thanks so much.
Likewise. Good night.